Internet. Another video coming at you from the Redskins rant. Hell to the Redskins. Before we get started, please subscribe to this channel, share it, follow me on Twitter, Redskins Ranter. I hit my goal, getting over 450 subscribers. Now we're up to 452. Let's keep this ball rolling. So, if you watched the video this week, I already went over that the Eagles, lost to the Washington football team, Sac City. That's what I call Redskins defense, Sac City. Or Washington's defense, whatever. So I'm just looking over some extra stats, and I didn't really go over them in the last video. One of the biggest things that was a key was our quarterback rating. Our quarterback rating was higher, both the QBR and regular just passer rating. And the completion percentage was a little bit higher from Carson Wentz, but we also, it's only by like 3%, so it wasn't that much of a difference. And Carson Wentz got sacked 8 times, and that knocks his total down of total yards down to 208. So Washington didn't really do bad on the offensive side. A lot of ESPN analysts are saying the whole game is falling on Carson Wentz, and I just think that's just a load of BS. It takes a lot of credit away for how well Washington played. And you can sit there and say the offense didn't look great, and I don't disagree with that. I don't think the offense looked too good. However, every time a defense stepped up and got a play, the offense capitalized on it. The defense intercepted the ball at the 40. What happened? The offense came right back and put the ball in the end zone. Every time. It never failed. Every turnover resulted in points. And that's what you want from your offense. If that is the recipe we have for success that we have to instigate or put into effect, I'm okay with that, because I think our defense is going to do a lot more of what it did to the Eagles to the rest of the league. There's a reason why we are doubling up the next closest team when it comes to sacks. We have 8 sacks, and the next closest team is the Chiefs, and one other team has 4 as well, and they have 4. So we're doubling up the rest of the league when it comes to sacks. So don't think that this is just like a one-time thing. Sac City is what Washington is going to be known as this season. So lunchtime at the quarterback. Just meet there and whatever. That's all I got to say about that. So, but I do want to give the offense credit, and everyone was saying that the offense was garbage, this and that it's all because of Carson Wentz. There was a reason why Carson Wentz wasn't good. He didn't just play bad. He was forced to play bad. He was sacked a lot. Guys stepped in front of passes. He was pressured. He got, antsy, whatever case may be. There's a reason for that. You don't just show up and you just play bad. If that was the case and there was no sacks, he did all that, you have a good point. But there's a reason why he was playing bad. And I don't want to hear excuses about Eagles' offensive line. The Eagles' offensive line, yeah, it was banged up, but we don't get those excuses, so why does everyone else get those excuses? All right, so again, I do want to reiterate that our offensive line did not play super great. I'm not going to sit there and say it did. The offense altogether didn't play super great, but guess what? Without everything clicking, our offense still put up 27 points. We still put up 27 points without having almost no rhythm most of the game. Running game was non-existent. Passing game was okay, but I don't think we really I think we could have tried more. I just don't think we wanted to give too much away of what we could do offensively. So I think that's a big part of it, is that Washington didn't actually we didn't beat ourselves. The Washington offense didn't beat ourselves. We didn't turn the ball over. We didn't take huge losses on sacks and stuff like that. We didn't have any real penalties. We didn't have any holding penalties. I think it's the first time in 3 years I can sit here on a podcast or a video or whatever and say Morgan Moses didn't have any holding penalties or false starts. So kudos to him. I've always given him shit in the past, and I got to give him credit. He didn't hurt us. He was actually a benefit in this game. So yeah, and got to give credit to Ron. Ron went out there and he made some gutsy calls on 4th down. We brought the blitz, we brought the heat, and it was just really fun to watch. And I'm sure I speak for the rest of you Washingtonians out there that this was an exciting football game to watch, and I'm excited to see what happens going forward, especially this coming week. So this coming week, the Washington football team plays the Arizona Cardinals. Let's see if I can skip to week 2. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Let's get over to this game here. We play the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona had a pretty good game last week against the 49ers. Let me actually go back to week 1 and see if I can get those stats real quick. And see how they looked. I don't know off the top of my head how they looked. I watched some of the game while I was watching our game, but yeah, there we go, box score. All right. So what did they do with Jimmy G? Jimmy G actually didn't do too bad. The defense didn't really do too much. Did they force any turnovers? No, didn't really. No, they just. If I'm being honest, I really don't think. I really don't think that San Francisco's offense is all that great. I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo is that great at quarterback. They don't really have a lot of offensive weapons. None of these receivers are extremely great. They're best receivers on the bench. So I think that's part of the reason why that the Cardinals were able to beat them. I don't think they have any weapons. Now you can sit there and say we don't. I actually think we do. We're just like, we're kind of finding our rhythm here. But I don't think the San Francisco 49ers have a lot of talent on offense. So I think shutting them down and holding them to 20 points is not something that I think is that hard. I think the Washington football team will do the same thing. But I got to look at the Cardinals offense, see how they did. They threw the ball a decent amount. There was one turnover. They ran the ball a lot. They did get a lot of rushing yards. So that's one thing that Washington's going to have to do is corral the running game. And DeAndre Hopkins got a lot of targets. That's going to be something that needs to be addressed. And we have to make sure one fumble, got a few sacks, 3 sacks. Okay. So, I mean, their defense isn't like horrible, but it's also not very good. So it just really depends on, I think our defensive line is significantly better than theirs. Let me just throw that out there to begin with. So, and I think their offensive line is not very good, and I think our defensive line is extremely good. So, let's go what we did last week. Last week we looked at, unit against unit, our offensive line versus their defense. I think our offensive line is not great, but this will be another good test for them. But I don't think that they're, head and shoulders way better than our offensive line like the Eagles were. I think it's a little more of closer to equal footing when it comes to who's better and who's not. I still give them the slight edge because our offensive line's not very good, but it's a slight edge. It's not like a head and shoulders above like it was, last week. Their defensive line, like I said, is better than our offensive line. Second, our defensive line versus their offensive line. Their offensive line's not very good. It's not. It's young. They're rebuilding the offensive line. That's why they have a mobile quarterback, so he can scramble and protect. He can scramble and prevent him from getting sacked. I just want to look at their offensive line real quick. I think that's going to be the bigger part of this. It's going to be the bigger part of this game that we're not going to we're going to miss out on is the offensive line for the Cardinals is not the greatest. I mean, they did pretty good actually against. I'm not gonna lie, they did pretty good against San Francisco, but I think we're a little more dynamic than San Francisco. We have a little bit better guys when it comes to personnel than they do. So I think that's advantage us. So I still think we have the edge when it comes to their offensive and defensive line. None of these guys are like gonna blow the world off or like blowing one's minds. So I think it's still advantage us. So let's go back to this. So let's go. Their receiving core, our secondary. Obviously, they have the edge here. They clearly have the edge in the receiving core. They have so many receivers that it's almost not even fair. DeAndre Hopkins is one of the best receivers in the league. Larry Fitzgerald, who at one point I considered him the best in the league, but he's now just playing into his age. He's a little bit older. But for sure, both of them are good receivers. They still have Kenyon Drake catches the ball like a madman out of the backfield. Christian Kirk, they didn't even play Isabella. They still have Chase Edmonds. They have Dan Arnold, whoever that is. I think that's a tight end. So they have all these players that are still on the roster that can still catch the ball, even if DeAndre Hopkins has a bad game. But it definitely helped DeAndre having 14 receptions for 150 yards. That definitely helped. But only one of them scored. So I think a lot of the keys to this game are going to be slowing down Kyler Murray's rushing attack because that rush is scary, whereas the running backs, Drake and Chase, didn't really do too much. So I think that's the biggest key to stopping this running game is Arizona's rushing attack. Yeah, so I think the key to stopping the Arizona Cardinals is slow down their run attack. You slow down Kyler Murray, it's going to slow down. I think what happens is he scrambles, and DeAndre Hopkins is so good at coming back to the ball. That's why he got so many catches. I think it also slows down the rest of the running attack, because if you can stop him, it's going to slow down Kenyon Drake and Chase Evans. So that's the key to the game, is stopping him. But back to the comparison aspect, our corners versus our receivers versus our corners, they have the edge. They have Peterson, Patrick Peterson, just better all around secondary than we have in a general sense. And when it comes to our receivers, like, really only have one receiver that can really go toe to toe with any great corner. Until I see more from other people, I'm not gonna, expect much more. Because as of right now, our receiving core is not doing too hot and not doing too much. Just being honest. Until they show me a little something more, I can't have high expectations. I haven't seen anything from any of our rookies. None of that stuff. So, and a lot of people are voting for us to lose. 68% has us losing. I think we're minus plus 6.5, so that means we if we're spotted 7 points, we'd still lose. And the over/under is 47 points. That doesn't sound wrong. But I think Washington will still win this game. I think our defensive line and Jack Del Rio will find a way to stop Kyler Murray. I think the whole narrative about this Washington football team in the past is that we have not been able to make adjustments properly. We haven't properly been able to make adjustments to stop what the other team's doing good. Okay? What did we do this last week? Last week, we took away the tight ends. We stopped the running game, took away tight ends, and made Carson Wentz throw his receivers that were depleted, and it gave us more time to get to the quarterback. Adjustments. So the first quarter, don't be surprised if Arizona comes out and gets like 14 points in the first quarter, and then from there on, it's a very slow burn from that point on. Don't be surprised if that's the case, because with Washington making adjustments, they'll find a way to keep Kyler Murray corralled, and they'll find a way to stop Hopkins from getting early passes. We're going to be a little bit different than the 49ers. We're going to get sacks. We're not going to miss them. We're going to corral them, and we're going to keep them contained. I think that's the big key to winning this game. And if you stop him, you take away DeAndre Hopkins, and you make everyone else try to beat you, that's the edge that we're going to have in this game. Is it going to happen? I don't know, but I'm a homer. I always pick my team to win. So that's what I think Washington's going to do to win. So the first thing you got to do is corral Kyler Murray. Make sure he's one-dimensional. Two, corral or stop DeAndre Hopkins. Those are the two main things. If you do that, then just have a stout defense on the run attack and make the other receivers beat us. Make Larry Fitzgerald beat us. Make Christian Kirk beat us. Make whoever their tight end is beat us. But don't let the quarterback run around beat us and DeAndre Hopkins run around beat us. Don't let those two guys beat us. If it's something else, I think we can live with that. If we hold Kyler Murray to 180 passing yards and like 10 rushing yards, and Hopkins gets like 25 receiving yards, but like what's his name? Kenyon Drake gets like 150 rushing yards because he has like a lot of big plays. I can live with that because then we stop the main part. But okay, who are our inactives this week? Shadik Charles is out again. He's questionable at least. So this could change between now and Friday. It is Wednesday, September 16th right now. This could change. Josh Jones, offensive tackle, is questionable. DJ Humphries, Mason Cole, and Jalen Thompson. Okay, so they, basically their offensive line, they have some people. So there's a prediction here, points per game. I mean, we'll see. It's going to be exciting to watch. It's going to be exciting to see, but I don't think our defense is going to be giving up. No. If you look at this, look at our last, X amount of games. Giving up 20, 37, 41, 47. I don't think that's going to happen. I think the only way that Arizona can win is by scoring, and I think we're a team that's going to force their hand a little bit. Something's going to give. We're about to find that out. But I want to thank everyone for watching. I'm super excited for this game. Hail to the Redskins. Hail to HTTR. Hail to Ron. Hail to the Ron. Yeah, Sack City. Let's get it started. That's the thing. We're going to call our defense Sack City, and our defensive line at least. And we'll find a better name for our defense. But Sack City galore. That's what we want, and we want to get a lot out of our team this week. I'm very proud of our team. Like I said, led the league in sacks. Very proud of Ryan Kerrigan breaking the sack record. This is actually playing his position. Got a fumble recovery too. We got 2 interceptions from 2 young corners. I mean, I could just keep going without. I'm happy that Haskins had a good halftime speech that riled up the team while Ron Rivera was getting an IV. This is good stuff, man. It's just good to see the Washington football team's leadership, rubbing off on the players, resiliency, rubbing off on players, and just a different attitude. I'm going to state it again. I stated it before. Not too long ago, someone stated that the culture with Washington was damn good, and that man was Bruce Allen, and he was wrong. Culture was not good. There's character. There's good character guys that want to win, and they'll do what it takes to win the right way. But if you have a bad culture, those guys can't thrive in that culture. Now, I think we're building the right culture, and these character guys are starting to step up. You're starting to see it showcase the character they have. So, but that's my video. The one more thing I want to talk about is apparently Washington may look to trade for Allen Robinson because they need some help with the receiver. I mean, if we think we're going to go somewhere this year, yeah, trade for him. But if you don't think the Washington's going to do good this year, like say Ron thinks they're still going to go like 5-11, there's no point going out and getting another receiver. Why waste a draft pick? Why get rid of your good young player you have now for a player that's contract's about to end, and he has to come in and learn everything anyway? This is going to ruin chemistry, and you can't ruin that much chemistry. Don't be alarmed if you think the offense right now we have is doing too bad. Remember, young team, new coach, did not have preseason. We're going to have some growing pains. So if we look to like game 5 or 6 and we're still not having an offense move the football, then we can start panicking a little bit and take a little look at that. But early on, we need to step back and just evaluate things and kind of see where things are going. I'm excited to see Washington. Washington put up 17 points, and our offense was not extremely good. So what happens when our defense plays like that from the beginning to the end, and our offense plays good? That's scary good, and that's scary to even think of. So I'm excited to see that. But for now, I'll take the win on week 1. And what Chase Young said, what's better? What's the best part about being 1-0? You have the chance to go 2-0. And I like that attitude, like that mentality. And I think the Cardinals are the perfect team to play next. If we beat the Cardinals, dude, when we beat the Cardinals, I don't want to say when. We beat the Cardinals. If you look at the rest of our schedule, Washington's schedule, Washington football team's schedule. If you look now and you're looking like through the rest of our if we beat Cardinals, I put us at a very high likelihood of beating the Browns. Ravens will be tough, but I think the Rams, the way that they played, the way our defensive line is, we're gonna give the Rams some trouble too, and then so on and so forth. Not gonna get too much into that right now. I want to focus on the Cardinals. But if we go out and we play good against Cardinals and we get the W, there's nothing to say that I 100% think that we can go out and beat the Browns and go into week 4 with 3-0. I think us and the Ravens will be 3-0 if that's the case. This is a tough game. If I was to put money on this game, would I? No. I think Arizona's offense is way too much. I don't know if we have an answer for DeAndre Hopkins, and Kyler Murray is very good at running around. But you never know. You never know. We could do a lot of good things. Our defense could step up and maybe Jack Del Rio has a plan, and we could eliminate those 2 factors, and then the game's really sways in our favor. But I want to thank everyone for watching. Hail to the Redskins, and see ya. Thanks for watching.